On this episode of DC On Screen, Superman and Lois have been cast for James Gunn's Superman legacy. Will Lex Luthor be next? Scott McClellan and I have a bit of fun talking about The Flash's box office, James Wan's desperate claims that Aquaman 2 matters, and so much more, right after these words from our mystery sponsors.
Are you struggling to conceive? You have options, and at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group, we'll make sure you have the guidance and support you need. PREG is known for individualized fertility care that's unique to every patient. We take the time to provide a reassuring and empowering experience because we believe that you deserve nothing less. Let us help you on your journey to parenthood. Visit us at pregonline.com to learn more. Get the guidance and support you need at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group.
Welcome into DC On Screen, the podcast bringing you news and reviews from the DC Comics multiverse on film and television since 2015. I am your host, David C. Robertson. My co-host, Jason Goss, is off gallivanting with family for the 4th, so filling in for him, a reputable gentleman of the DC podcasting world, Mr. Scott McClellan of DC Squadcast, and a glut of other fine internet programming.
Also from 2015, just saying.
Yeah, we broke out of that gate together.
Yeah, we did.
But independently.
Independently, but together. And
in the same town.
Yeah, exactly. It was a good year.
Mm-hmm.
I miss those days.
You know, in a different reality, just adjacent to our own, DC On Screen might have been a trio if we'd just known you.
If you only knew of my existence.
That's how that works.
But that movie Sliding Doors. Did I get on the train? Did I not get on the train?
I don't know that movie.
It's a Gwyneth Paltrow movie. Interesting movie that basically looks at two alternate realities, and the film is happening concurrently as you jump between the two different realities, whether she gets on a train or doesn't get on a train at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, man, that sounds cool.
It was cool, actually. Like I said, Sliding Doors.
Sliding Doors. It reminded, just at the beginning of you describing it, it reminded me of Run, Lola, Run.
Which I have never seen. I need to see that.
That's a pretty good one.
Okay.
Before we jump into news, this quick announcement. If you entered our Shazam Fury of the Gods digital code giveaway, please send us an email to dconscreen@gmail.com to get your prize. Life got crazy, and now I can't find any instance of anyone tweeting hashtag DCOSFury on social media. So apologies for the holdup. Send us an email. We'll take care of you. All right. So we've got a very little bit of news, but I'm sure we can stretch it out. I don't know if we can stretch it out like me and Jason do.
Probably not. I can't aspire to that amount of tangency.
Nah, I know.
Squirrels!
Bat wieners, flipper hands, squirrels are chasing. The Flash finally made its budget, but its production budget back.
Took it 3 weekends.
It's so depressing.
It really is, because I'm not sure if you listened to our review over at DC Squadcast, but I really enjoyed the movie. I actually went and saw it a second time this past Monday.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to see it before it left theaters, because I knew with Indiana Jones coming out that this was going to be my last chance to see it on any of the premium screens.
Yeah.
That we've got in town. And I did see it, and to say that I maybe even enjoyed it more the second time wouldn't be a lie. And it actually blew me away that if I can do a shameless plug over on our Patreon over at Squadcast Media, I just recorded about an hour-long conversation with Stephen Colbert of Screen Rant, because I just wanted to talk to somebody who analyzes things and looks at all this information.
Right.
And it's a Scott Shots episode, which is my solo show on Patreon, and I named it The Death of the Flash. What happened? And it was just because I wanted to have two guys without fan crap, just trying to be as analytical and objective as possible to go, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
because even I couldn't comprehend how just disastrous this box office has been. I mean, it has been bad on a level that I can't even understand.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's shocking in a way. Like, I loved parts of it and I liked parts of it. It just didn't come together for me, but not in any way that made me think it was going to do this poorly.
Right. That's the thing. So even people who don't like the movie, or as a preview to the conversation that Steven and I had, it's like, there are movies that are worse than this movie that have done better at the box office.
Yes. And I can't help but think it's some strange amalgamation of Spider-Verse being such a big deal. The DC brand, like the last 2 or 3 movies they haven't been, well received. Knowing that the reboot is coming, they announced that reboot, and despite what people on Twitter want you to think, general audience does catch wind of those things. Like, I have several general audience members of my family, and I just went down to Montgomery to see them, and they were like, "Oh, so the Flash isn't doing good. Is it because of the reboot?" And I'm like, how do you know about the reboot? Oh man, it was everywhere. I saw it. It was all over the internet. And they're not following these things necessarily, but they know enough geeks and stuff that they're seeing something about it. I mean, I really do. Like, I've been talking to Jason and Pud 333 over on Twitter, and it is. I think it's a death by 1,000 cuts. It's the Ezra controversy. It's everything.
And that's the deal, though, is that it's not one thing.
Right.
Too many people on social media want you to think it's one thing, like they have the answer. Mm-hmm. And that's the problem. There's not the answer. It is this perfect crap storm that just hit. Because, I mean, look at what's happening with Indiana Jones right now. It's not doing well.
No.
It's like, June happened. The movies that were going to make money made money. And it's like, I'm sorry, there's no money left. Because have you seen the price of tickets? It's inflation, all the things. It's crazy.
Yeah, you can't put that aside either. I mean, it's just everything. But yeah, it's projected to do 300 million worldwide. That is, we're never going to see a Flash 2, y'all.
No, not at all. We're not going to see that possible Batman Beyond movie that Kevin Smith said, maybe could have happened.
Well, Michael Uslan came out and said, Kevin don't have his facts straight. And Kevin was like, you need to talk to your kid because your kid is the one that told me.
I would say, the funny thing is, I would believe Kevin Smith over Michael Uslan at this point. I'm
really?
Yes.
Why?
I have some feelings about Michael Uslan. I'm not, and I could just imagine him wanting to say that for Smokescreen. Like, you can't tell him, he would like that to happen because with the Keaton stuff, that's more executive producer in his pocket kind of deal, because while his name is attached to anything that Batman on screen does, that doesn't mean he has the same amount of control of everything where Batman is on screen.
Right.
So I don't know. It's like, I know Kevin can talk out of his ass sometimes, but I would also believe that there is truth to everything. And so I think it's interesting that Uslan came out and said that, and I think it's interesting that Kevin came back and stood his ground. Yeah,
he was like, your kid's the one that told me, man. You need to talk to him. I like Kevin Smith. But I mean, I think as we speak, he's doing a screening of the Schumacher cut. So,
dude, I so wish I was there.
I know, right? Me too. But unlike me, you would actually go and do it.
Well, I went to L.A. Going to Jersey doesn't seem like that big of a stretch.
Yeah, I know. You went to L.A., you hung out with Zack Snyder, You might as well go and hang out with Kevin Smith in Jersey, man. I mean, just make the rounds.
They're all fictional characters.
So this is hilarious to me. Comicbook.com was talking to James Wan, and this is like the second or third week in a row that James Wan has come out with some news where he's like trying to explain why it's different, why Aquaman is like worth watching. And
that movie is, I just feel so bad for James Wan because that movie has the biggest target painted on it at this point.
Only because no one remembers that Blue Beetle's a thing that's coming. I
know. And the funny thing is, personally, I'm more hyped for Blue Beetle than I am for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
Yeah, me too. And I'm not even hyped for Blue Beetle.
I know you're not. I've listened to your show. I know you're not, but
oh yeah, by the way, I did listen to your Flash review. I did. And I was happy that you liked it.
Thank you.
More than I did, anyway.
But yeah, so what did James Wan say? I don't follow the news because I don't have to anymore. So it's like, so what did he say, man?
So this time he says, I totally forgot we were doing that. He said, well, Aquaman, even the first film, has always been a very standalone film. That was always our approach, that it kind of lives in its own world. And that's kind of how we've approached The Lost Kingdom as well. You know, people love Jason Momoa. People love him playing this role. And people love the action visuals of this space and this world. And that's what we're doing. We're taking it to the next level, and we are still expanding. And just any fans of Aquaman, the character, that love Black Manta, this is the next level. And I'm very excited to finally put it out there to show them what we've been working on all these years. It's just, we've talked about it on I think at least the last episode, but he keeps doing these interviews where he's just like, please, we're in our own world. It doesn't matter if they reboot. We're a part of it. Please watch this movie, or we won't be. That's what it feels like to me.
Well, it also feels like, don't feel like you have to have seen anything. Just come. It's like he's trying to fight against the fact that his movie does exist in the cinematic universe. Mm-hmm. It's like, because I've reached the point, you and I have actually had this conversation in person, where, you know, I'm starting to lose it with the cinematic universe stuff. It's like, just make a good movie. Make it. I don't care if it's a standalone movie. Just make it a good one. And because I'm really getting tired of the conversation being, why does this matter? What does this? How is this connected? What is this? What is this telling us about the future? It's like, how about you just watch the movie for the movie? And it's kind of like how even in my comic book reading, I've moved more to like one shots and limited series, and I don't read monthlies anymore because I'm not in that headspace right now. It's like, no, I want a finite story. I want something with a beginning, a middle, and an end. Thank you very much. Make it good.
I want that, but I also want the connected universe. I want every movie to be, and this is something that Marvel does not always succeed at. Often does not. You know, I hate the way Marvel, I love Marvel movies, but I hate the way they will end a movie with a character in a certain place. And you're like, we're going to have to deal with the ramifications of that. That's a big deal. And then the next time you see that character, it's like, oh, no, that wasn't a big deal. We just moved on. And I get it's been like a couple of years, but, you know, the end of Iron Man 3, he blew up all of his suits. He wasn't Iron Man anymore. And the next time we see him, he's like, oh yeah, I'm Iron Man again. It's fine. It's stuff like that, you know? Like, so I want both for DC. And, you know, I feel like James Gunn has good storytelling sensibilities, because I felt like even with the Guardians stuff jammed into Infinity War and Endgame, those three Guardians movies are a really good, solid, like, singular story.
No, and I know that he had input on the Guardians' appearances in Infinity War and Endgame, and don't forget the holiday special.
Yes.
So
yes,
which actually, for me, I rank the holiday special just below the first Guardians movie. So they do stand alone. Like, they exist in the universe, but he really did have he really kind of took a screw you guys. I'm telling my story over here. You know, you can play with my character. I love the fact that I haven't seen Love and Thunder because reasons.
What were the reasons?
I hated Ragnarok, and I am not a fan of Taika Waititi. So
okay, well, those are the reasons,
right? So why go watch a movie that I just know it's set it for failure from the start? And I know the Guardians were in that movie, but I also noticed how nothing else acknowledges anything about the Guardians in that movie. Like, I even asked people after what either watching before, during, or after watching Volume 3, and I was like, did I miss anything referencing them in Love and Thunder? And they were like, nope, he completely ignored that. I said, good. It felt that way.
Yeah, I would say, you know, there are a couple of things that hit me for Love and Thunder that made me, I like portions of it better than Ragnarok. And what I really liked about Love and Thunder was, one, if you've ever had anyone dealing with cancer, that's going to hit home for you in a big way, I feel like. And I know you have.
Yes, but I have also had season 3 of Superman and Lois to...
That's true.
Yes. Which, by the way, tangent, excellent season.
Such a good season.
Such a good season. I have some critiques that I hope that Ray gets his stuff together and we can record a season 3 review for DC TV Squadcast, because that show's been... Literally, the last time we recorded an episode of that show was us talking about the end of season 2 of Superman and Lois. But I have some quibbles and I have some critiques of season 3, but Lois's arc is not one of them. As a matter of fact, that arc is what made the season for me. So I get that. So that's also an advertisement to say, hey, if y'all haven't seen season 3 of Superman and Lois, it's getting a 4th season, so go watch season 3.
They're firing everybody on the show, but it's getting a 4th season.
And, by the way, not actually, I ain't mad about that.
I'm not either. I feel like everyone's storyline has been wrapped up except for the Kents.
Well, I also feel like one of the things about season 3 is that it really started to feel like they were stretching to have a reason to have the other characters there. And I'm ready for them to just focus on the Kents, especially now that they are making Lex Luthor a series regular for season 4.
Yes.
Which, by the way, if y'all haven't seen season 3, or if y'all haven't seen those last 2 episodes, because minor spoiler, Lex Luthor doesn't show up until the last 2 episodes of the season. But dude, once he shows up, does he make his presence known? Dude,
Cudlitz is a killer in this role.
Oh, dude.
I haven't even seen the finale. Like, when I get
You haven't seen the finale yet?
No, when I get off of Bethany's been out of town. She's been in West Virginia, and we watched that shit together. So she got back in night before last. Yesterday, I had to go to a birthday party in Montgomery. So when I get done with this cast, I'm going to go watch the finale.
Dude, I'm so glad I kept my mouth shut and I didn't spoil anything for you.
Thank you. Other thing about Love and Thunder, though, heavy on the fatherhood themes.
Okay.
Like, I don't have kids, and I'm sitting there like crying over the non-existent kid I have. Like, so there are good things about it.
I gotcha. Okay. I'll wait for it goes back. I'm hoping that it'll go down to like $7.99. It probably won't drop below $9.99. That's basically how I buy my Marvel movies now. Is I'll watch them on Disney Plus, and I'll own them because I'm a completionist. But I gotta wait till they get marked. I ain't paying $19.99.
No.
I'll wait till they drop down to like $9.99 or maybe the occasional $7.99 sale, and then I'll own them in my digital locker.
I stopped buying Marvel movies for the collection when I realized they weren't going to release any of the Disney Plus series on Blu-ray.
I stopped buying them when I realized they weren't going to give me a Phase 3 box set like they did for Phase 1 and Phase 2, because I had the suitcase with the with the why am I blanking on the name of the Infinity Stone in Avengers?
The Tesseract?
The Tesseract, yeah, the Cosmic Cube. I was about to go old school and call it the Cosmic Cube.
That's the way I think of it, too.
Yeah. And then they had the Power Stone for Phase 2, and they never came out with a physical collection of Phase 3. And I just went, nope, I ain't buying these physically anymore.
Yeah, that means they were probably losing money on those.
Yeah.
All right, so the big Superman legacy news. They officially cast David Corenswet as Superman and Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane.
The funny thing is that it's the casting of Lois that's gotten me like the most excited.
Yeah,
Rachel was my pick. Like when they gave me, like when they listed out these are the options.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're telling me you can only pick from these people, ever since I heard that I went, oh, it's Rachel or bust. No.
Yeah.
No. Of all of these people, you better go with Rachel or you're stupid. And it wasn't even that I wanted her just because she was the lesser of evils. No, I really enjoy Rachel. I know she was in House of Cards on Netflix, but it's been I never finished the show, and it's been so long since I've watched it. But dude, did I obsess over all 5 seasons of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on Amazon. And if your listeners don't have a dog in the fight about Rachel being Lois, or if they're wondering why some people are like just so excited about Rachel as Lois, watch The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. One, it's a funny-ass, hilarious, well-written show from the creator of the Gilmore Girls. And
that's good. That's a good piece of information.
Oh, yes.
I have been trying to get my wife to watch it, and she doesn't care about it. And I haven't seen it yet. I just, me and my wife watch a lot of TV together. So, like, most of the stuff I watch, I'm watching with her. And if she isn't interested in it, I can walk away and go watch something else in another room, but I just don't.
Well, this was a show that my wife and I watched together. Like, this was one of those shows, and it's if people aren't familiar with the concept, I mean, it's over now. Like, the 5th season is the final season. It just dropped like at the beginning of May. Like it just ended like a couple of months ago. But she plays a 1950s Jewish housewife who gets dumped by her husband, so she becomes a stand-up comedian. Mm-hmm. And when you watch her performance, especially, if you're familiar with the Gilmore Girls and the snappy dialogue, it's that rapid fire, you better be paying attention because the jokes are flying and they're smart and they're funny. And you could just feel a Lois vibe from her. It's like she can do that.
Mm-hmm. I've seen clips of that show. I really want to watch it. And if she's just not on board, she goes out of town like less than 2 weeks to Japan, and I'm going to binge the shit out of it. Cause I really want to see it. I've seen clips of Corenswet, and
I know nothing about this guy. I literally his name meant nothing. People talk about things he's been in. Mm-hmm. I literally don't think even by accident I've seen anything he's in.
Yeah, I had to look up clips, and I mean, he looks like a good actor. He honestly does. And, the three biggest things I keep seeing with people complaining about him are, is Superman Dawson's Creek because he's young. This guy is 29 years old. He's the same age Henry was when he was cast as Superman. If you love Henry Cavill, I guess you liked Superman Dawson's Creek then. Like when you watch Man of Steel, because he's the same age as this guy. Also, like the news outlets keep posting the same like picture of him like looking really scrawny. Dude, I'm not even ashamed to say it. Type in David Corenswet hot. He has gotten built as shit for some roles. Like, he's huge in some roles.
And I don't understand, Dave, I don't understand that argument. Do we not know how Hollywood works? give these guys 6 months.
Exactly.
And when their only job is to work out for 3 hours a day and only consume about 1,000 calories. And they gonna be swole for the role because it happens every time. Bale did it for the Dark Knight trilogy, and he was just toned and cut. Henry, anyone who did any of the Zack Snyder movies just got freaking ripped, even if you never even saw it. Jackman, Hugh is getting ready to play Wolverine for Deadpool 3, and he tells you it's 6 months, but they're gonna do it because also they're actors and they're getting paid to work out.
Yeah, Jackman he's got his walker. He's strolling into the gym every day. Putting aside the walker with the tennis balls, taking his cane, getting over to that bench. He's putting in the work. Sorry, I just think it's funny that he's still doing it.
I'm weirdly excited about the fact that he's coming back. It's because it's Hugh Jackman.
Oh, I am too. It's just, you remember that old Simpsons bit where they're like, Star Trek 12, so very tired. And they're all just like got the little reading glasses going, so very tired.
So I always, whenever I hear that complaint, that's just someone being disingenuous. It's like you know that anybody can get cut or in shape. I mean, Pattinson did it for the Batman. And even Pattinson, they weren't going for like rippling muscles and stuff. They were just going for toned and cut. Because, not everyone has to have abs upon abs. It doesn't have to be the standard. Yeah. I was having this conversation. Go back and watch Temple of Doom. Harrison Ford is toned in that movie. He is not ripped in that movie. His arms are actually kind of small.
Yeah.
to be honest with you. But he's in shape. We got to get over this idea that everyone has to look like a freaking comic book cartoon that looks like Ed McGuinness drew them.
By the way, I have, my wife was just telling me about how her first screen crush basically was, when she was tiny, was Harrison Ford in the Indiana Jones movies. I have now talked about Harrison Ford shirtless way too much tonight. But no, I mean, I get it. Cute guy. But no, I don't understand. One, the people who love Henry Cavill used to bemoan the fact that no one could get over Christopher Reeve and give him a shot.
And they're doing the exact same. Yes, they're doing the exact same thing. It's like they just become the other side of the argument.
Yeah. And all the people who were who were going, Pattinson, Batman's going to sparkle. He's going to be a shit Batman. Nobody's saying that anymore. Nobody.
It was a damn good movie.
He was a damn good Batman.
Yes, he was. Because he got to be Batman for most of the movie.
It just drives me nuts. Don't you ever get tired of being on the wrong side of the argument? In 6 months when the movie comes out, a year when the movie comes out, it's not going to be like you thought. So why are you giving these actors so much shit?
I mean, you're the same people who gave Ben Affleck shit about being Batman.
And now you're mad that anybody else is going to play him.
Thank you. So, I was love the fact that I still remember the night that I heard Ben Affleck was going to be Batman. I went, cool. He was good in Daredevil. He wasn't the problem with Daredevil. So, it's like, guys, how about we just sit back? Because we make the jokes about how this happens every time. Keaton gets cast as Batman.
Yep.
Ledger gets cast as the Joker.
Yep.
All these people who get cast, people lose their shit. And then, oh, wait, the movie comes out and they're amazing. Maybe they got cast for a reason.
No. James Gunn, evil pedophile. Anyone he casts is going to be the same. And he made distasteful tweets. That means he's the worst person alive. AKA he's not Zack Snyder.
I maybe am not on pins and needles to Superman Legacy. but it has my curiosity. And I'm going to give it a shot because it's going to be another Superman movie, which we haven't had a solo Superman movie since 2013.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like I said, I know nothing about Corenswet, which is fine. At least that way, my first experience with him is going to be, okay, you're Superman now. Show me what you got. You know, I'm just going in with excitement for Rachel because I love her as Maisel, and I want to see more of her. And what she's done in Maisel makes me go, oh yeah, you can do Lois, no problem.
Yeah, from what I've seen, I think they both got it in the bag. They're both entirely capable of playing these characters. By the way, Jason said that he's very excited about her, doesn't know him.
You know what? And that's kind of been really, when you talk to people who have an actual opinion about this casting news, that's basically the theme.
Yeah.
You know, excited for her, don't know him.
Which is perfect.
Which is perfect. And when the news got announced, because we all know the news got announced when it got announced because they were trying to divert attention from how badly The Flash was doing in the box office. It's like, okay, here's some DC news for you. And look at how it went down at social media. People, on the whole, were excited or interested.
Yeah.
You know, if you weren't just glowingly enthusiastic, you were at least like, cool. You know, you were nonchalantly curious to excited, and the negativity was actually more of the outliers.
Yeah, I think so. But, you know, I see, you know, like one of those arguments I see is that like people who are saying like, oh, has he even been in anything? And I'm like, well, first of all, IMDb is a thing. In the time it took you to tweet that, you could have looked it up. He has been in several things.
As Zach Galifianakis says, the Joker said in the Lego Batman movie, might be worth a Google.
But also, don't you think that's what they're going for? Like, man, you casting Superman, maybe you don't want someone that people go, oh, that's Brad Pitt. Oh, that's Tom Cruise.
And also look at the fact that historically that's what Superman's been.
Yep.
Christopher Reeve, Brandon Routh, Henry Cavill.
Mm-hmm.
No one knew who these people were in general. I knew who Henry Cavill was because my wife made me watch The Tudors on Showtime.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the whole thing is that they always try to cast someone who would be good in the role, but who you don't know because you don't want their identity overshadowing the character.
It's weirdly the inverse of what happens with Batman. They'll cast someone you know as Batman.
Yeah.
But but Superman on movies, it's weird to me, and I've said this before, how Superman has been able to have such an illustrious career on television. But dude, has it been a rough go of it at the movies.
Mm-hmm.
While Batman can have a movie every which way, but we can't seem to get him on freaking television.
Yeah. By the way, I am wearing a Smallville shirt. So, like, yeah. Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, they're saying that, I think, what was it? Heat Vision or whatever it was. I can't remember now. And I didn't write it down because I suck. But, they're saying Alexander and Bill Skarsgård are reportedly in the running for Lex Luthor.
I heard about that. I do believe it was Boris Kit. So yeah, Heat Vision.
Yes, Hollywood Reporter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was an interesting twist. If you're giving me those two options, I'm leaning more towards Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them could do it.
Yeah.
But if you want my preference would be Alexander.
Well, I want Bill Skarsgård to play the Joker. So,
because he was great in John Wick Chapter 4.
I don't even know that.
Yeah, he's the big bad in John Wick Chapter 4.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Which FYI, people who would support him as Luthor point to his performance and his character as the Marquis in John Wick Chapter 4 to say that's what he could do.
Yeah. And to me, like, if you want to get an idea of what James Gunn's version of Lex Luthor is, on the Inside of You podcast with Michael Rosenbaum, he did say Michael Rosenbaum's Lex Luthor was his favorite. So I feel like we're going to get that, son of, giant businessman who's maybe trying to do the right thing, but just goes about it the worst ways possible, slowly slipping down into, evil.
I really liked Rosenbaum's Luthor on Smallville. It was a good Luthor.
Oh yeah. He's probably my favorite, honestly.
And my problem is I always mix in the animation because I love Clancy Brown.
Oh God. Yeah. I mean, yeah. If you're talking all time, Clancy Brown's animated series Luthor, yes. But
if we're limiting ourselves to live action, oh man, that's a ball buster for me because there's been a lot of Luthors that I've liked.
Yeah.
Like I always give credit to John Shea on the first season of Lois and Clark.
He was actually really good, for real.
Which is another. Go back and watch that first season. That first season is solid.
Uh-huh. Yeah. The show has shifted when the Jimmy changes.
And Cat Grant goes away.
Yeah. Which she was always kind of she was the iffy part for me on season 1, where she was like, oh, God, just stop chasing after Clark, man. You're an attractive, successful lady. You don't have to have Clark.
Yeah, but when I was 11 when that show was airing on television, she was hot. So you know what? I didn't care.
Yeah, no, I understand that. That's that age.
Yeah, I had her and Terry Hatcher. I was just fine.
Are you struggling to conceive? You have options, and at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group, we'll make sure you have the guidance and support you need. PREG is known for individualized fertility care that's unique to every patient. We take the time to provide a reassuring and empowering experience because we believe that you deserve nothing less. Let us help you on your journey to parenthood. Visit us at pregonline.com to learn more. Get the guidance and support you need at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group.
So yeah, Batman Part 2, Matt Reeves is hinting that he's got Greig Fraser back, the cinematographer from the first one.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I would hope.
Oscar-winning cinematographer Greig Fraser. I mean...
Yeah, I'm down with that. Like, that movie looked great.
Yeah, I still appreciate Roger Deakins coming out and saying that it was basically... I'm paraphrasing here, but... it was a crime that Greig Fraser wasn't even nominated for an Academy Award for cinematography for the Batman.
Mm-hmm. If I followed anything with the Academy Awards, I would probably agree with you.
Well, when Roger Deakins said, you done screwed up, you done screwed up.
That sounds right. I do know Roger Deakins. Yeah. So
even if you didn't know who he was, you've seen you've seen movies that he's shot.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, no, anything that they can do to make sure the Batman Part 2 feels like the Batman Part 1 tonally and visually, not like any of this bullshit Batman Returns where it doesn't even feel like the same city as the first one.
No, yeah, which I think is going to be okay because the footage, the trailers we saw for the Penguin TV show, which isn't even Greig Fraser. Even the show feels like it exists in the movie universe.
Yeah, it does.
So, I mean, that would give me hope that, yes, Matt Reeves and Greig Fraser would team back up, and we would still get the same aesthetic.
Mm-hmm. I meant to ask you, because I couldn't remember, and I couldn't find it, but there hasn't been an Aquaman Lost Kingdom teaser or anything, has there?
No. We've gotten is sizzle reels at Fandom, but no, we haven't even had a trailer. The movie opens at the end of the year.
Yeah,
we haven't even gotten trailer number 1. They're doing reshoots right now, I think.
Yeah, that's what we talked about last week. Yeah.
So, dude, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I was thinking about it earlier, and I was like, how am I supposed to be excited about it? I haven't seen jack shit about it. Like, the only thing we ever see about it is that they keep reshooting shit.
which does not fill me with confidence.
No, it's the primary problem I have with The Flash. Not even the VFX were my problem primarily, My problem was that they have had 3 freaking administrations over the course of the movie, all that had different endings in mind and different reasons for the movie existing. And now we're getting the same thing with Aquaman 2. We already know that Keaton has shot a cameo that's probably not going to be used.
Affleck shot a cameo.
Shot one that's not going to be used. And now they're going, oh my God in heaven. And if they keep reshooting, the VFX are going to look like shit. If that's what they're reshooting, because
they're not going to, because the VFX artists aren't going to have not going to have enough time to do it right. And
then James Wan, just like Muschietti, is going to come out and say, "Well, it's supposed to look that way because they're underwater."
Don't do that. He was talking about the Chrono Bowl.
I know.
Don't propagate that.
He did say underwater though. It looked like it's supposed to have like an underwater feel.
I don't know. But once again, if your listeners aren't aware, I'm not the biggest fan of the first Aquaman movie. So
I'm not either. I don't care about Aquaman. Like, I like Jason Momoa as Aquaman in relation to the other characters in Zack Snyder's Justice League. But I am apparently not in agreement with Henry Cavill, so the rumor says. Have you seen that today?
I saw that. I am very suspect about how that particular account.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
I'll just say I'm suspect of that account.
Uh-huh.
I have my reasons. I'm going to be honest with you. Okay. If I'm going to detail why I'm suspect of that account, it's because I get very annoyed with how they present information that is correct. I mean, whenever they talk about home releases, they're always on the money. Like that cannot be denied.
Yeah.
But there's never any it's always it's either leaks or insider information, because there's never ever sources.
I know.
There's never what's the release date? Where's the pre-order link? Like, where can I find this information from a corroborating source? And unfortunately, right now, they're the only one giving me the news about this 4K steelbook of Mask of the Phantasm that's apparently coming out in September that I'm ready to go buy.
Now, look, earlier today, I saw randomly on my Twitter, it was an account saying that they had just finished recording an interview with Henry Cavill where he said he preferred Justice League over Zack Snyder's Justice League. I could not find that tweet again when I actually got to a place where I could put it, insert it into the prep, but I did see the internet had blown up with it, and all of a sudden it was like the rumor account we're talking about was what everyone was talking about, but it wasn't. I don't think it was the same account that I saw earlier. So, who said but they said that the interview, the podcast or whatever, is going to drop July 9th, I think.
I would be very interested to hear the context of what Henry actually says.
Mm-hmm.
To say, are you mischaracterizing it? Are you saying, because there's so many different things that he could have said.
Based on what I've heard him say, I think he could. I could very well imagine him saying he preferred the Joss Whedon version of Superman, because that was always what he was trying to push towards, is like the hopeful, optimistic Superman.
Right. That doesn't mean that he prefers the movie over one or the other. But right. I don't know. The problem is when I see stuff like that, it's like, I need context.
Mm-hmm. And it was just over the course of conversation. I did not even wind up putting it in the notes, and I said it. I talked about it anyway, because we're DC on Screen, and that's how we do. I think better of it, and then I'm like, nah, this might be funny. Are you going to watch that superpowered DC story trailer?
Oh, I've watched the trailer.
Not the trailer. Sorry, I said trailer because it's there. That this is a 3-part docuseries.
Yeah, I like documentaries. I always like.
It's on Max, by the way.
It is on Max. I will be interested because it's 3 parts.
Mm-hmm.
Does it just? I would hope that if it's 3 parts, that means that it gets to go really in depth. Because sometimes when you get these documentaries that are only like 60 minutes, 90 minutes long, because they're covering so much, material, they feel rushed.
Right.
I'm curious to see if this feels like it has room to breathe, depending on how long each part is.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I want it to be like a 10-part series, but
you want it to be like a Ken Burns PBS documentary.
Yeah. 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 I want the Joseph Campbell PBS doc. What am I thinking about now? So I have admittedly been bothered by the fact that like pretty much everyone in the trailer was like The Rock and a bunch of people who aren't going to be involved in it going forward. That's how it felt. Patty Jenkins, The Rock. I'm like, what are we doing?
Well, those are the film interviews, but then but then you see people like Paul Levitz, and I like it when they actually talk to the comic book people. I saw Mark Waid. It's like, as long as here's what I don't want to happen. This is my wish list. Don't skirt over things. Cover material. I mean, it's going to be biased because it's on Max, so they're going to present it in the most positive light possible. But talk about the history of DC. Mm-hmm. Please tell me something I don't already know. Like, I would love to be informed. I don't want to feel like I'm just being regurgitated with the same, information I've heard a gajillion times. Mm-hmm. I get concerned, however, when I see the same people in these documentaries. Like, you're always going to get Mark Waid. You're always going to get Michael Uslan. It's like, these are the people who always show up. And I feel like they always say the same things. And I would like them to treat everything with respect. Because that doesn't always happen.
Yeah. I want some combination of, like, respect, but also, like, crazy bombshells. And that usually is what's going to be the thing I don't know.
Yeah.
So whereas like, they were so poor at the DC offices, the artists had to use their foreskins as needed erasers. Some kind of like, what the hell kind of barbaric bullshit is this? That's, that's what I want is, I want them to be like, yes, we've confirmed that, Jerry Robinson created the Joker. I want something like that.
Yeah.
That's what I like. I feel like this is going to be a puff piece, though.
I really do think it's going to be a puff piece. That's why the three parts is interesting. It's like, okay, am I really going to get 3 parts of a puff piece? That feels like, some of those featurettes they used to put on like the animated movie special features. Mm-hmm. Like, the best one of those they ever did was the Frank Miller one they did on the deluxe edition of The Dark Knight Returns. That thing was incredible. Like, but that was also like a 90-minute documentary about one thing. Let's talk about the creation of this one book. Yeah. That's the problem I have a lot of times with documentaries that you've got 85 plus years you're trying to cover here. And I'm just scared. Like, I know PBS did one that Leah Schreiber, they tried to cover all of comic books. Mm-hmm. And it was like,
I remember that one.
It was a good one, but even then it felt like some things got a little
murky, left out. Yeah. Shortchanged. Somewhat on that topic, do you think this is, because I suspect, and maybe I'm wrong, do you think this is like part of some stuff that was like filmed for a fandom that didn't happen?
You know what? I hadn't even thought about that, but I'm intrigued now.
No, yeah. I was like, when they announced it, I was like, oh, they made that for fandom, or some of it anyway. And they went, no, we can change this. 100 years of Warner. Yeah, we could do that. Like, yeah, here we go. We'll do that.
I like the way you think, Dave.
It's directed by Leslie Iwerks. He did like the Imagineering story. He did 100 Years of Warner Brothers.
I still haven't watched that one.
Yeah, I haven't either. It's also co-directed by Mark Catalina, who did Johnny Carson, King of Late Night, which I think I did watch. Inventing L.A., the Chandlers and Their Times. But yeah, it's going to have interviews from Tons of people tied to DC, including Melissa Benoist, Greg Berlanti, Tim Burton. Which, why would Tim Burton? He has shown nothing but disdain for comic books. Seriously. Mike Carlin, Linda Carter, Henry Cavill, Kaylee Cuoco, Gal Gadot, James Gunn, Patty Jenkins, Dwayne Johnson, Michael Keaton, Regina King, Zoe Kravitz, Jim Lee, Zachary Levi, Damon Lindelof.
Hey, I like the Watchmen series, and that's why he's there.
I know that's why he's there. But based on because of recent allegations, I'm surprised they didn't just cut him.
Oh, I haven't heard about the recent allegations. So,
there was a big expose about like behind the scenes on Lost, and how he was basically he was a dick to a lot of people. But the most egregious thing I remember reading was that he was trying to figure out how they were going to get rid of Mr. Echo, who was a black actor, and he kept making jokes about lynching him behind the scenes. And yeah, that's not great. But anyway, Tom Mankiewicz, Jason Momoa, Christopher Nolan, Robert Pattinson, Christopher Reeve, John Ridley, Margot Robbie, Bruce Timm, Michael Uslan, and Mark Waid. Is all the people they're touting here. I'm sure I hope there are more than that. But yeah, I'm totally going to be going into it trying to figure out, like, is this for fandom? It didn't happen. Like, this is just going to be preying on me. Especially like you bring in Melissa Benoist. She hasn't been Supergirl in like what 2 or 3 years now. Like Tim Burton. Like what are we doing? I'm confused.
But you interview them because you're going to talk about that era of
maybe.
Oh, that's what you do in these documentaries.
I know. I'm just giving it shit. Like everything DC now, I'm just like trying to piece it behind the scenes. Like, what was the true purpose of this program? You're shaking your head, but can you blame me? I mean,
I don't blame you. I just am glad that I just shut my brain off and don't even worry about that kind of stuff.
This is what they've trained me to be.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is very true. Because I always feel like that we're like, especially since we've been around since 2015 as podcasters, but then we've been fans since the 80s.
Yeah.
It's like, you just go through and you're like, you wouldn't believe the stuff I've seen. Like, I feel like I'm that grizzled veteran and like, some punk ass kid is coming up and like trying to stir up some shit.
It's like every month we got the Wizard magazine that kept assuring us that Nick Cage Superman was happening. The casting call segments where they would fan cast the Nick Cage Superman.
Oh, I still remember the issue where they fan cast X-Men. I think Patrick Stewart was Xavier in that one.
Oh yeah, definitely. There was also one where he was Mr. Freeze, and I couldn't agree more. I'm like, that would be fantastic if he was Mr.
That would be
Freeze.
Amazing. That's actually great casting I never even thought of.
Yeah. And of course that led me to, oh man, I wish Leonard Nimoy could have been Mr. Freeze at some point. If he wasn't so busy doing Star Trek, he could have at least been on the Adam West series as Mr. Freeze.
They had 3 different ones. We had a chance.
And we lost them all. That's all the news I have. Did you have anything that you saw that you'd like to talk about that I missed? Because God knows I do that. I miss things.
No, that's really it. I mean, I only see the big stuff these days. Now that I don't have to like dig in and watch stuff, at this point. Cool thing. If you have not already watched it, which I bought it back in March when it came out, but I still haven't watched it. But if you're like me and you haven't watched The Doom That Came to Gotham, it's on Max now.
Okay.
So it looked really cool. I've heard really great things. I'm now one of those people who like didn't watch it when it came out, even though in this case I bought it, and now everyone's going to be talking about because it's on Max, because that's what people do now. They don't buy these animated movies; they just wait for them to drop on Max, because that's what happened with Battle of the Super Sons. I watched it when it first came out and loved it and tweeted about it, and no one talked about it until it hit Max, and then suddenly everyone was like, "Oh my god, this is a great movie!" I'm like, "Yeah, I told you that like 3 months ago." When it first came out. Dude,
let me tell you though, like we actually had Warner Brothers running a promotion with us on our show. They gave us a shit ton of free codes for the Doom That Came to Gotham. Nobody cared. Like, there was like 2 or 3 people who, shared our show or whatever, and they got their codes. But, I mean, I have one for myself, and I still haven't watched it, though. So I can't blame them. Well,
I haven't watched it, and that's because I didn't want to. It's just life. Right.
Also, like, we've got like speaking of a glut, we've got a glut of cape shit. I couldn't get to the Doom because I was busy watching Superman and Lois and, whatever damn Marvel thing was out at the time.
Well, I mean, look at what happened.
Doom Patrol and Titans and Stargirl and all this other shit.
I know. Well, not even cape shit. Like right now, it's like even just this weekend, I had Indiana Jones and I had the first 2 episodes of season 4 of Jack Ryan and the first half of season 3 of The Witcher. And I still haven't even watched the first 2 episodes of Secret Invasion. It's like, I don't have enough time in my day to watch all this stuff.
And there was a good 2 or 3 months where I was just obsessing about Star Trek Picard season 3. Because that shit was the bomb diggity, as they say. And now Strange New Worlds is out, and they just dropped an episode that like confirmed the headcanon that I've had since like 2002. So I've been very happy about that. So I got a lot of stuff going on.
I do, however, have a hot take to say.
Go for it.
I'm not done with it yet, but I started after season 4 of Titans completely dropped on Max. I finally started watching it.
Oh, really?
And I am shocked to say that season 4 remembers why I like season 1.
Good.
It's like the show. It's like the people running the show goes, "Oh yeah, that show that we were in season 1. How about we try to be that show again?"
Yeah. You said Doom Patrol?
No, Titans.
Or Titans. Sorry.
Yeah, I've always loved Doom Patrol.
Yeah, okay.
But Titans has just been diminishing returns for me. And season 4, I'm up through like episode 8 of season 4, and I'm just like, dang. Like, season 3 was so painful for me to get through.
Really?
Oh, God.
There were elements of it that I hated that really bugged me.
It was a chore to watch season 3 of Titans for me. And season 4, I'm like when it gets to the next episode, I'm going like, yes, please. It was weird. So I still need to finish that. But that's also a good question. When are they dropping the second half of season 4 of Doom Patrol? Like, when are we getting that? Have you heard?
I don't know.
Have you heard anything?
No, but I also haven't sought it out. Bethany and I just started, season 4 of Doom Patrol. We just finished season 3 of Doom Patrol. Like, we both got a little bogged down with the Sisterhood of Dada. We were a little bored by it, honestly.
I don't blame you on that. It's still a good show, but I can agree with that assessment.
It just got a little too in the weeds. And I understand that a lot of that is like the point, but also it wasn't terribly entertaining at times for me. Also, I think I'm just tired, like it is like, I feel like there is I know these things are ending, and we've maybe watched 2 episodes of Titans season 4, and we just fell off. We just could not bring ourselves to get back to it. And I can't help but think it's because I know that it's ending and is all going to be rebooted in some way.
Well, see, I think for me, I'm the different. Because I know there's an ending, it makes me feel like, okay. Like, that gives me more of a sense of, okay, it's going to be over. So let me watch it. Which is why I kind of waited until the entire season had dropped. And now I'm just watching it, all in chunks.
That makes sense. But, when we kind of got back into, we picked up Doom Patrol season 3 again, and we got caught up and remembered what was happening. Actually, we disagreed. She still thought it was boring. I liked it more. I just needed a break. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, cool. I don't know about Titans yet. Titans has a habit of being strong for me and then failing in the last episode.
Oh, definitely. Oh no, that's the pattern of Titans. So I'm but my problem with season 3 was it just failed for me the whole season.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. The only thing I really remember hating in that season was, I think this is that season, was they never explained how Donna Troy knew that Bruce was he was trying to kill himself, basically. Was in like the burning Ireland Wayne Manor.
Yeah. That was season 3. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. They never explained how she knew he was there or what was even happening.
There was a lot of we just don't talk about season 3. It's like we don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about season 3. And yeah. But I'm, and eventually I'm going to get caught up on the Arrowverse just so I can finish it. I just got to finish it. And now that it's all over and done with, it's like I just need to sit down. I am so freaking behind. I'm like in season 1 of Batwoman, season 3 of Black Lightning, season 6 of The Flash.
Yeah.
And basically season 4 of Legends. Basically you look at Crisis and it's like, and that's pretty much where I left off.
And that's where most of the writers left off too.
Yes.
Because and I do. I feel I need to apologize to Ryan Hulsman because he loves those shows. He's the only person who listens to our show who loves those shows in an outspoken way. I don't mean to be a dick, Ryan. I'm sorry, but man, it's awful. Just so much of it got awful, except for Superman and Lois.
Superman and Lois. I think Superman and Lois was that show that was just like, see. You know what to do. You obviously know what you're doing.
Somebody does.
Somebody does?
No, look. Todd Helbig left The Flash and it went to shit. Where did Todd go? Superman and Lois.
Yes.
Todd knows what he's doing. Once Eric Wallace got in charge of The Flash, that shit was piss poor.
Man. I am, and now that I know it's canceled, I am going to watch Gotham Knights.
Really?
Yeah. I had someone tell me that except for one thing, which has been spoiled for me because people on the internet are dicks, pretty much everything gets wrapped up by the end of season 1.
Oh, wow.
So you can watch season 1 and, like...
Neat.
The story kind of has an end with a character has a cliffhanger, and I know what it is. Like I said, thank you, Twitter, for...
Is it Harvey?
It's Harvey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not Two-Face yet. It's got to be you.
Yeah. What I've been told is that's the only like cliffhangery thing, but like the actual story of season 1 wraps up.
Yeah.
So I was like, and I've had enough people that go, of all the Batman shows that don't have Batman in it, like this does it okay. And I hear the Court of Owls is in it, so I'm just like, oh, damn it, you said that. Okay. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm a sucker. It's like you put Court of Owls in something, I'm going to want to watch it.
Yeah, okay. But you know what? Like, I have never seen the Court of Owls done well, except for the Scott Snyder comics.
When I did my rewatch, leading up to Apocalypse War, of all of the continuity, like that animated movie universe they did.
Oh, I see. I still need to watch all that.
Oh, Batman versus Robin.
Okay. They're done well?
They are done well. The movie intentionally takes the Court of Owls arc and the Nobody arc from the first arc of Batman and Robin from the New 52, the one that Tomasi wrote, and they blend them together.
Oh, that's interesting.
So instead of it being Nobody, it's a Talon that's working on Damian.
Yeah, that's neat. That's a neat twist. I like that.
And Jay Oliva was the director for the movie. So
he's always solid.
So the fight scenes,
yeah,
kick. I mean, when the Talons invade Wayne Manor, dude.
Yeah, I need to get to that. Yeah, I just I remember the Court of Owls being so disappointing in Gotham.
Oh, yeah, yes.
And I want to say they were now I don't remember. They may have tried to do something with him in Batwoman. Maybe they didn't.
I wouldn't know. Ruby Rose is still Batwoman when I left off. So,
yeah, man, it's sad how the Arrowverse fell.
It is because, dude, I still remember first 2 seasons of Arrow, first season of The Flash. That was
sick.
That was some awesome stuff.
That was good. I liked the first season of Batwoman for real. I thought it was pretty good.
I haven't even finished it yet, so I can't speak to it. I finished the episode when, the first post-crisis episode, and I haven't watched anything after that.
Yeah, I really liked the dynamic between Alice and Kate, and I thought they had some really cool little ideas in there. But once she left and the whole thing got retooled, basically after Crisis, nothing was good again. It felt like everybody just gave up. Like, well, we blew our load. It's a bummer. Anything else, Scott? You listen to our show. You know this is my regular thing where I'm just like, yeah, I ran out of shit a long time ago. What do you got?
That's all I got. That's all I got.
That's fair. Oh, I did want to ask you this. I brought this up to Jason, I think, on the last episode. Can you imagine a universe where Warner Brothers allows James Gunn the time to actually build an audience with his DCU?
If I'm being honest, no.
Guy's got 3.5 years on his contract left. He's got 10 years of plans. His first movie doesn't even come out till 2025. So he's got he's burning effectively 2 years of his contract before his first movie even comes out. I mean, if you want to try to make the case, like next year he's got Creature Commandos coming out, but it's an animated show. Nobody's going to watch that shit.
I will, but...
I will. I'm excited about it, but it's not going to be like... People aren't going to be subscribing to Max for it. I don't see a universe where, like, I feel like we're going to get, like, Superman, we're going to get Creature Commandos, we're going to get Waller probably, Peacemaker Season 2, and Legacy, and they're going to have somebody else in there. Or David Zaslav, who's currently selling off music rights at the moment, is going to wind up selling or merging Warner Brothers, and they're going to want their own guy in there, and they're going to change it all up.
If there's one thing Warner Brothers has taught me is don't get comfortable.
Pretty much. Well, I guess on that note.
What a lovely note to end on. Thank you, Dave, for that.
Arrowverse sucks and James Gunn isn't going to have a job in a couple of years. All right, folks. See you later. So glad we instilled you with the hope that Superman would...
This isn't an S.
This is an S. It stands for shit. And that's what you could expect from Warner Brothers.
It's on fire.
It is on fire. Zaslav is the brown paper bag. I don't even know what that means.
That's the brown paper bag that's full of shit that you set on fire in the front of somebody's house. I know exactly where your brain went.
I know that's where my brain went, but I don't know how the metaphor works. It's like,
I'm not saying I understand how the metaphor works. I just understood the metaphor you were making.
I'm like 18-year-old Barry going, "Am I the Parmesan?" Like,
I think the metaphor's over. It's just a garnish.
Thank you guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for being on the show, Scott.
No problem.
Tell us all the shows that we can listen to you on. Even if they aren't technically yours.
Okay. Well, of course, you can find me on Twitter at ScottDC27. You can find my podcast, the DC Squadcast, wherever podcasts can be found. We're on Vero, Facebook, and YouTube, and the entire network of shows at squadcastmedia.com. Our last episode we have published is our review of The Flash, so go check that out. We are a fan-supported network, so head on over to patreon.com/squadcastmedia, where $5 a month will get you access to an RSS feed of over 400 pieces of content, including our review show, Squadcast Movies, where we review every comic book movie ever made, and my solo show, Scott Shots, where my latest episode is, as I mentioned earlier, called The Death of the Flash. What happened? And then also every Sunday night at 9 o'clock Central Time, head on over to the Film Junkie YouTube channel, where I am the co-host of the DC Fanimated stream, where we are watching every episode of the DC Animated Universe and discussing every episode week by week. We have already finished the first 2 seasons of Batman the Animated Series. We are currently discussing the first season of Superman the Animated Series.
It's very impressive how you just say all that. And I have like 2 shows and I can't even say those things. But yeah, those are all very entertaining shows. I try to keep up with them as I can. And, of course, if you want to support our show, DC On Screen, Patreon is the best way to do that. Patreon.com/DC On Screen. You'll get every episode ad-free. Plus, you'll get shows like Comic Castaways. We're having a lot of fun talking about obscure-ass comic book characters so far just from the DC universe, but we might be branching out some point soon. And if you're a Star Trek fan, please go check out my Star Trek show, Star Trek Universe, where we're covering me and my friend Matt, who we've been friends since we were 6. We're talking about all the new Star Trek and the news, and then me and Effie Oppelders are doing a rewatch of the original series right now. So we're putting out two a week on Star Trek UCast. But yeah, I don't know. Until next time, keep that DC on your screen and the DC in your Squadcast and all the things, whatever.
Keep reading DC.
Yeah, that's the way it ends. Hey, thanks for listening to DC On Screen. Our theme song is by Jason Goss and Michael Shackelford of Galactic Engineers. The incidental music is by Michael Shackelford and Kevin MacLeod. You can rate the show on Spotify or rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Doing that really helps push our show to new listeners, so your help would be much appreciated. You can also contact the show at DC On Screen on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or email us at dconscreen@gmail.com. To become a patron and get ad-free episodes and exclusive content, go to patreon.com/DCOnScreen. Your reviews and feedback may end up on a future episode of DC On Screen. DC On Screen is a production of Maladjusted.tv in association with Stranded Panda. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever damn platform you use.